everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Tamara Jean, the Awakening Mentor and Wellness Astrologer here on High Vibe TV. It is Monday, March 17th, 2025, and going to just channel information for these next few days. Really, I know the eclipse was so potent. So many people feeling it, myself included. Of course, we have David in oral surgery today, so we'll keep our prayers and healing energy going for him and giving him the space that he needs for a full recovery. And so we're sending him all of our love and support. And for the astrology, of course, I would just rewatch Deep Astrology, right? And he amazingly did a horoscope for today on Monday. That's very good. So if you haven't watched that, I recommend that you do so. And I have this on pause, as you can see, because I want you to see the beginning. And so this is purely binaural beats, right? So this is one frequency for one side of the brain, another frequency for the other side of the brain. And then, so you don't need to have earbuds or headphones to listen to it. You can have it on in the background to still receive its benefits. But if you really want to deepen your experience with it, of course, then earbuds or headphones. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. Now this channel is the power of you. And obviously the heart-brain coherence, because that is what I was seeing. That was the first and foremost. And then I was seeing different parts of the brain lighting up, and we have so much energy. We still, of course, have that powerful eclipse moon healing, right? We're in the middle, almost in the middle of the eclipse portal. And just kind of, as you're listening to me, kind of pay attention what's going on here. And we have, of course, the equinox, spring equinox, well, for Northern Hemisphere, but the equinox nonetheless this Thursday with, of course, then the sun moving into Aries, astrological new year. But of course, right before that happens, the sun conjunct Neptune at 29 degrees. We all know how significant this is. And so I was seeing so much and the energy going so deep, especially while the moon is currently in Scorpio. And I see it going into then the higher mind when the moon moves into Sagittarius on the 19th, on Wednesday, early afternoon, Pacific time. And so this is lighting up different areas of the brain. So I'm seeing it as like a holographic image. That's typically how I see with a lot of these types of images. And so seeing the brain, but it's kind of like a translucent image. And then different areas are lighting up, very similar to a thunder lightning storm, that when there's cloud cover and there's flashes of lightning, but you don't see like the lightning like streaks or strikes. It's the flash, and the flash lighting up the sky like behind the clouds. That is similarly to what it looks like in these different areas of the brain that are getting activated. And that's where things are processing, especially from the eclipse. Things are processing in our long-term memory bank, and how we are processing our emotions. So two specific areas that are being highlighted as I tuned into the energy are the hippocampus and the amygdala. They're right next to each other. They're right next to the brainstem. And that hippocampus is what's responsible for, like, its main function is for memory and memory formation, primarily converting short-term memory into the long long-term, right, memory bank, the storage. And it also plays a role in spatial navigation and emotional processing. And now the amygdala is associated with pleasure and fear, addiction, and it's important in forming and storing information or memories of emotional events. Now we know, right, things are highly emotional, being with everything that is playing out, the energy that we have, right, up to the very end of Pisces season, right, highly emotional, things that we are, the patterns that are breaking through to our awareness, but we are processing in a bit of a different way. And it was very clear to point out the importance of the brain-heart coherence. And I do like Dr. Greg Braden when he talks about it. So of course you can, do your research on that and find his video describing it or talking about it. And then I came across this video on The Power of You is the name of the channel, and listening to it goes for like 8 hours. It would even be good to listen to like while you're sleeping, because there's this opportunity and how I'm being shown the equinox. So massive, like deep dive into shadow basically, right? With, and facing things with that full moon lunar eclipse that we had. And many of us having physical experiences, like for myself personally, is such major detox symptoms. So much that, like, I was going to film on Friday and that was like, oh my gosh, I can't. Like my head was so bad and it was affecting my eyes. So like to look at the camera, having the light just not working. So was hoping for on the weekend, and just, I had to be almost horizontal for a lot of the time. And just, doing all the things that I know to do for detox, but, which have helped because now I'm filming today. But this heart-brain coherence, I like the name of this video, Real Power of Feeling, Real Power of Feeling and Imagination. And that really stood out as actually feeling the imagination and seeing the equinox as the image that I was being shown is like a parting in the sky, like during a storm, and then you get a break in the storm and the clouds part a bit and you see some blue sky and sunlight. That's what the energy of the equinox looks like. Now we're still going to be going through intensity, for some time. This is a lot there's the focus on, and I want you to pay attention to the emotional events, like how you are reacting, responding, because we know that a lot of the external programming, right, that gets projected onto us, because we know our brain is just a computer, right? It just records information. And so it's highly programmable, especially when you are first waking up and when you are falling asleep. So it's very important to monitor your thoughts at those times. So what has been happening is, when we are so emotional as human beings, that is used, right? Like used, it really is used against us. And through this like trauma bond type of almost like an addiction, but it has kept this pattern alive in the shadow with the collective and external energies, entities, and using that in just like, let's say an anniversary of an event that was very emotional, right? It was not a positive event, and reactivating through the emotions, that pattern, kind of like when you're like reopening the wound, right? This has been done for a very long time. But it's different now. Like we are now having the opportunity with all of the cosmos and being aware in these particular areas in the brain, the hippocampus and the amygdala, and they're right there at the brain stem, right, which is like sensory information. It facilitates the communication between the brain and the rest of the body. So, you know, just in receiving that information and being aware, and the short-term memories and long-term memories, you know, you can think of like the Pixar movie, right, Inside Out 1 or 2, both very good, right? And how it goes over, you know, they're taking, right, the spheres of a really good memory, or, you know, an event that just happened, and storing that into the long-term storage, right? When things get disrupted, right, if you've seen those movies, then what can happen, especially in the second one, when you have the anxiety character introduced. So all of this is coming up because I was receiving that this energy and moving as we're approaching the equinox. We're in an ascension process currently, and a lot of reprogramming, and there is reactivation, but in a different way. This is getting to the root of a lot of issues and patterns, and restoring like your unique, your own expression, and being able to transmute the energy, and where we're able to do it through that level of unconditional love, compassion, and understanding. That is a lot with these specific binaural beats with this video that you are currently observing. And so this is very important, and you can combine this with, or also listen to 639 hertz solfeggio frequency, the harmonization frequency for the brain and the heart. Because of course it's very important that we have this coherence as we move forward in this process, and you know, and beyond from this point moving forward, because there is no, in this, since the eclipse, right, there's a lot of the correlating timelines with those old patterns, and the wounds as they were have all collapsed. There's a lot processing unconsciously as well as consciously. You could be feeling it in the body. So you may continue, if you've been having detoxification symptoms, if you have been experiencing headache, really for no reason, then it's a lot of it is energetically induced. As patterns collapse in the quantum, you physically feel it. And so that is a lot of what is currently going on. And as we approach up into the equinox, I'm seeing different hearing categories. So different memories are going to be coming up for you. And it's there's something with the neuroplasticity, with the mind, with the brain. You can check out Dr. Bruce Lipton's work in reference to that, right? Of course, epigenetics, and how we are in power to change, right? We can change our DNA coding, right? We can change the genetics, as we can transmute, and we can deactivate and activate. We are currently more consciously rewriting our DNA. And so you may also want to start including 528 hertz into your frequencies, as that being the miracle tone, right? Helping to cleanse and transform and heal in all of the cells, but also the DNA. So all of these frequencies, they are very powerful. And even more so, I mean, I have them just playing different ones all the time in the background, but right, get even more powerful and concentrated when you do put on headphones or earbuds. So this getting the heart and the brain in coherence, as I'm seeing it's simultaneous with the Earth's process that she is going through. And it's significant with the equinox, that timing, because there is a particular alignment energetically, and I can see that there's going to be another blackout of the Schumann resonance, which translates into it being like off the charts. So if you are sensitive to that, do know that I predict that, I forecast that happening through the equinox. And more geomagnetic activity. So of course the sun is doing its thing, and which will continue, but it is the effect on the geomagnetics of the earth, and that is influencing our energetic field, and then our own individual toruses, and the electromagnetic field of the heart and the brain. And this is why it's very important to have them in coherence, because it is going to affect your reality. And you will begin to notice by your frequency changing, by what you begin to see in your reality, whether it is just in your environment at home, whether it is the feed that's coming through your social media. It's going to change, because you are being activated at very deep levels to, it's like things, like I'm hearing like it's already done, like the divine timeline, like that has been set. It's been a process of quantum untangling, like, right, there's quantum entanglement. This has been the untanglement of that entanglement, and therefore, and how it unfolds through the dimensions, through in our reality, right? And ultimately in our body, the patterns that collapse. And you will feel shifts. I know everybody in this community is sensitive, and you are all, right, intuitive, psychic. You all have your unique gifts, and there's a lot of them that are going to be coming online much stronger as we go through this portal, as I see the equinox. And I mean, the moon is still going to be waning, obviously, so there's still a lot of processing. But where you are conscious in paying attention to the process of your processing, especially when it comes to the emotions, and paying attention to pleasure, fear, and addiction, right? I mean, there's so many addicted just to, let's just say, our phones, like our social media, right? Not just talking about kind of like substance addiction, all these different patterns and the emotions, corresponding emotions, and just paying attention to that emotional and the emotional events that took place. So here is the work in having, let's say, something comes to the surface for you, or something is triggered, in remembering, in a memory. I want you to think back. Okay, what was happening in your environment at that time? And this is when you can start to change the programming in your unconscious, right? The subconscious. And this is where things are going to start changing. I'm hearing like external energies have been manipulating this with, right, they call it like the Mandela effect. Or I always think back to that movie, was it The Butterfly Effect? Just so trippy, but that kind of effect. And right, trying to change our memories. And that's why, and that is still continuing to, right, through different, and they will use emotional events. So this is, you have this opportunity with this energy, and I feel it's strongly connected to the Sun-Neptune conjunction, because it is that like very intense last degree of Pisces, and how that is connected, right, to, of course, our energy body and spiritual body, and our subconscious, and our intuition and our vision, and how, you know, trying to be manipulated by outside or external forces. And so this is part of the journey right now in stepping into your power, right? This is, I've been talking about that for a long time now, but now it's like, okay, it is where the rubber meets the road. And for you to, whatever fears you have around that, patterns around that, programming around that, it's time to face that. And that's part of this eclipse work. And then in really getting that brain-heart coherence going in alignment, because you know that there will be an activation when it is the new moon and partial solar eclipse in Aries. on the 29th, right? And then Neptune's going to move into Aries on the 30th. So until like through the equinox, paying attention to these different things, I'm going to use the essential oil cards, pull some that may be beneficial for these next few days with these energies. We've got Cypress, which is brilliant because this is the oil of motion and flow. This does help you to like let go of the past and get in flow with the present. And then we also had grapefruit come out. So grapefruit is about nurturing the body. And so it is that self-care and, you know, and being nourished and what it is that you truly need, and respond to that, ask for that as you go through this process. Because I saw someone mention that went on to, because I got these on Amazon, and I guess they're not available anymore. But if someone happens to see them, maybe kind of post it in the community and see, using the Gateway of Activation Oracle cards for any additional message for these next few days for us. And I will now, that eclipse and headache and all that I had going on was such a doozy that now I will respond to all the comments, all the feedback on the post that I made in the community, which I just really appreciate all of you so very much. Okay, we have Thoth light codes. I love this because there is higher learning that is happening, light initiation, great teacher awakening, divine magic. And this is, right, the aspect of you and accessing that higher knowledge as you get really tuned into and get that brain-heart coherence really online and going and harmonized. Right, there is going to be information aspect of you opening up. And if you're ready for that next level to, you know, take a deep dive, it's what my Divine Mastery mentorship is all about. People I've been working with, they're able to do things and access things that they haven't been able to before. They said it's like the best investment they've ever made. So I'll put that link below. If you have any questions, you know, please do not hesitate. I am presence. You are getting into your I am presence. Again, light body activation, accessing the divine within. Right? So this is just confirming what I have been talking about in getting into and connecting with that part of you. It's a part of our process in our journey right now of, right, it's both ascension and descension. We have descension of our higher consciousness that is beginning to integrate into our conscious awareness here in the third dimension. And then we're also ascending at the same time in the body as our frequency is elevating as we do this, right, as we get more aligned and connected with our soul intelligence, getting our heart-brain coherence going on. So that is what I have for you for these next few days. And again, let's just send all of our love, prayers, healing, and support for David and his recovery, and for Sophia and Aurora and baby Asher, right, healing energy. I know Sophia and Aurora haven't been feeling well either, so just sending them all lots of love and support, and I will see you guys next time.